Hi, I'm Maureen Rogers from Laurel Mill Playhouse, and this is Curtain Call. We're back, finally, after 2.5 years. And we are back because of so many people that we have to thank. The City of Laurel, our benefactors, our patrons, grants that we received, and we are so grateful to you to be able to come back like this. It almost makes me feel a little emotional because we thought we were going to be closed for about 3 weeks, and it was really 2.5 years. So we are glad to be back, and we've actually done some shows. We started a soft opening in December, and my husband, who is the president of Laurel Mill Playhouse, we're so happy to have him with us this time. Normally he's behind the scenes, and he'll tell you a little bit about what we did to come back and start performing again. So Marvin Rogers.
Thank you, Maureen, for inviting me, and I'd also like to, before I even start, publicly thank you for hosting Curtain Call for the Laurel Mill Playhouse, as well as all of the things that you do behind the scenes to make our theater a thriving community theater. And also for your advocacy for all things Laurel. So thank you for that. We are so happy to be back in business, so to speak. Just to give a little bit of a history of Laurel Mill Playhouse, we started out as Burtonsville Players Incorporated in the town of Burtonsville. But after a few years, they relocated to the Laurel area over at Laurel Lakes, and we operated there for quite a few years. And then we lost our lease because of renovations to the shopping center, and we happened to find a building on Main Street in Laurel available for sale, and we actually met in our basement one day and decided to give it a go, trying to redevelop this property into a community theater. And I'm really happy that we were able to locate that theater, or that building, and we decided to name the theater the Laurel Mill Playhouse to advocate the history of Laurel. And so it's been a wonderful run. We opened in 2001 in December, or actually we bought the property in December of 2001. We actually opened our theater in 2003 in March, I believe it was. And so therefore, this upcoming March of 2023, we will have been on Main Street for 20 years. And we have a history of over 50 years in the Laurel community. So, and a lot of what we do is attributable to Maureen's hard work every day. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for building the theater, because he was in there every day for over a year, 7 days a week, 50, 60 hours. It was just incredible. But we're going now, and we did accomplish some things during this little hiatus. We got a new website, thanks to the City of Laurel for us being able to get a grant that would allow us to do that. We did a huge cleanup, which took for months, and many dumpsters, reorganized things, painted things. So we did spend some time, and we also got a little break, at times. So it's been great. And also when we have when we get to 20 years in March, we are going to have a gala to celebrate that event, because it's really special to us. And it'll be great to see everybody there. Also, we have Patrick Pace here with us. He is on the board of directors. He is the treasurer. He directs, he acts, he sings. He does a little bit of everything. And he's going to talk about some of his upcoming auditions and shows.
Thank you, Maureen. The next show that I'm going to be involved in is called Dial M for Murder. And I think most people remember the movie with Ray Milland and Grace Kelly. Of course, it was a play before that. We're going to put it on in September. And the dates, I'm just going to look at my phone because I don't want to get it wrong. The dates are September 16th through October 2nd, with Fridays and Saturdays and a couple of Sundays. The show has, if you look it up or if you've seen it, you might know that it's got calls for 5 men and 1 woman. That's a little old-fashioned for us. It's 2022, and we're not going to concern ourselves too much with that. Anybody should come out and audition who wants a role in the play. It's got a married couple, it's got a lover, and it's got a murder victim, and it's got a couple of police detectives. And so just a great old play that I think a lot of people really enjoy. They even made a remake of the movie, a sort of a remake with, who was that? Michael Douglas in the early 2000s called A Perfect Murder. A little different take on it, but the same basic story. That was really good, so I recommend that one too. The auditions are going to be held, and I don't want to get this wrong either, June 23rd, that's a Thursday at 7 p.m. at Laurel Mill Playhouse right on the stage. And then another session on June 25th, Saturday at 11 a.m. And then the following Wednesday, the 29th at 7 p.m., all at Laurel Mill Playhouse. And just anybody show up whenever they want. And after the 29th audition, it'll be pretty quick to decide who the cast is, and we'll get rolling with rehearsals, as soon in July as we possibly can. We don't want to wait too long. We like to have plenty of time.
I put out a little tickler on the fact that you were going to be directing the show and what show we were doing, and I put it out on Facebook, and Facebook just blew up.
Oh, good.
People were so excited about that, so that's really good.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
What attracted you to direct this particular show?
I don't remember what made it pop into my head, but I'll tell you a little story. When I was a kid, I auditioned for the High School for Performing and Visual Arts in Houston, where I grew up, and we had to do 2 monologues. And one of the monologues I chose was from that play. And so I've always kind of remembered that. And when it popped into my head one day, I said, well, that would be a good play to do at Laurel Mill Playhouse. And so away we go.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now tell them about what you're going to be doing in February.
In February, we're doing a very different kind of show, a big musical, Pirates of Penzance. It's a... Now remind me. Gilbert and Bernstein. Oh boy, that just slipped right out of my mind. Gilbert and Bernstein. Gilbert and Sullivan. Boy. Gilbert and Sullivan. Everybody likes a Gilbert and Sullivan.
They do.
It's a lot of fun. Whimsical, right. And great music and big cast, lots of people. We're going to need everybody to come out and do all their singing and dancing, and we'll just have a good old time. So that'll open up in February. So we'll probably be holding auditions in November, maybe late November.
Yeah, I would think so.
We'll want at least December and January to rehearse.
And that's an operetta, right?
Yes,
is that considered an operetta?
Operetta, yeah. Gilbert and Sullivan, all of their musicals are kind of like that. There's a lot of music in there, but still the talking in between
There is still a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we did it,
Several years
I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And it went over really, really well. So I hope all the people that were in that show will come back and watch this one.
Well, that'll be new for me. I haven't directed a musical yet. I've been in my share. I've performed in numerous operas
Patrick has
and musicals.
Patrick has a really good voice.
Thank you. So I'm looking forward to taking a part of the directing part. I've done some musical directing, but not the full show.
The full,
so that'll
yeah.
be new,
I'm
and
sure
I'm looking
great.
forward to the experience.
And you're going to have Mimi, right? As
Yes, Mimi has agreed to play the piano to accompany,
Great.
and we'll see what instruments we get in the pit for the actual performances.
Good,
We haven't
good.
really nailed all that down yet, but
Yeah, it's such a great place, I think, for a musical because you don't need to be mic'd. The
True.
acoustics are really good. You know,
True.
you won't hear that crackling of the microphone. So it's just, it's a good place to be. Comforting seats that are comfortable. But I also wanted to say that if you need more information on this, go to our new website, which is laurelmillplayhouse.org, or call and leave a message at our number, which is 301-617-9906. It'll instruct you to call me if it's of urgent nature or I don't call you right back. So feel free to call me directly if you need to, which is 301-452-2557. And we have a new email address, thanks to Patrick. Oh, or me, or both of us, I forget which. Our new email address is LMP, stands for Laurel Mill Playhouse, 508, that's the address, the street number in Maine, MAIN @gmail.com. So it's LMP 508 Maine@gmail.com. So thank you both for coming. And next up will be John Perry, who's going to be doing the music of Lennon and McCartney. And we're so excited to have this. We've missed having some of these musical shows in between the regular plays and musicals. So stay tuned for John Perry.
Cyberbullying is a very real thing, affecting over half of young adults online. It is generally done by bullies called trolls. These trolls will invade your privacy and ruin your social media experience. Here are some ways to prevent that. Set your privacy settings on all accounts. Only accept friends. Trolls are not your friends. Don't release any personal information. Block suspicious accounts. And tell a trusted adult. Use these tips to help keep you safe on social media. Don't get trolled, stay safe online, and stop cyberbullies.
Welcome back to Curtain Call, and with us now we have John Perry, who will be performing the 25th and 26th of June at Laurel Mill Playhouse. It's called The Music of Lennon and McCartney.
Yes.
Right? And we are so looking forward to this, especially since Paul McCartney was just in town. You know, it's certainly spurred up interest about this show. So, first of all, tell us how you got involved with this, or even with Laurel Mill Playhouse. How did you know that we were there? And
Well, I actually had some, I spent time in Laurel performing early on, right around 2000, 2001, at a place called Oliver's. And I had a band called 8 Days a Week.
oh my gosh,
And
I do remember this now. I do remember, yes.
Yeah, we played locally quite a bit, and Oliver's was one of our spots, and Dave was nice enough to have us there. So I was aware of Laurel Mill, and so when I started the solo show, the one-person show, you know, I started to look you up, and it took a little while to connect. But it just seemed like a great place to bring the show to, and I'm really thankful for you guys hosting it. So,
Oh, that's great. I bet you didn't know that Dave Coggett was president of the Laurel Mill Playhouse for a while.
I didn't know that.
And he performed in a show. It was called, it'll come to me as we talk about it, but he was the star of the show, and
How
he just
about
brought the
that?
house down every night. So.
Wow.
And Dave was a real Beatles fan,
Yeah,
too.
absolute
He would even
diehard.
sing, wouldn't he? Get up occasionally?
He did one song with us.
Oh,
That was
okay.
kind of the requirement. He did a song. And it was fun. Dave was a great guy.
Well, I'm so glad that we finally connected, and actually today is the first time we have met in person. We've talked on the phone, we have emailed, you've talked to Marvin and gone into the theater and all, so
Yeah.
it's just nice to finally see you in person and here too. So you started with the 8 days a week band, and then how did it progress to doing this?
Well, the band came maybe 5 years or so into the Beatle thing. I was like a lot of folks, just a guy with a guitar in pubs singing, and I happened to have a lot of Beatles in my set, and I would get comments about, you kind of sound like this guy or that guy, and one of the Beatles. And not long after that, it was around 1995 or so, I auditioned for a band that was being put together by Starley Enterprises, and I got into the group, and that was really where it started to take off. And we weren't boot and suits, which is what a lot of guys tend to call the Broadway version. So we all dressed in turtlenecks, and no guy was a character. We just, whoever sang it well sang the song. But soon after that, I got an audition with the Mahoney Brothers out of New Jersey. And that was really the kind of where I started to get schooled in the Broadway-style Beatlemania. And I played with them for about a year, and came back home, and that's when I started my band 8 days a week. So it's funny. It's such a fraternity, and it's worldwide. And I ended up playing with guys who had actually been on the Broadway stage and had done it in the 70s.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So, and still friends with a lot of those folks, and it's a world of its own, for sure.
I am sure. So tell us a little bit about what people can expect to see this Saturday or next Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so what I've done with the show, typically when I've played in tribute bands, I've been sort of the unofficial musical director. I've handled the harmonies. I've typically been the guy who did the orchestration and the keyboard work. When the pandemic hit us, I was doing live streams and basically sitting on a stool and just singing the songs, and everybody was so hungry for performances and to hear musicians. And I kind of got back to where I started, where it wasn't, well, I'm a Paul guy, so I'm going to sing all Paul songs. I just sang any Beatles song that, that people wanted to hear. So in a way, this show has been influenced by that. I'd been doing a Paul show for a good while, and I thought, well, why don't I just broaden the spectrum and add some John songs? And before you knew it, I'd played the show at Moose Lodges and some private parties, and it organically grew into the music of Lennon and McCartney. So what the show brings is there's a lot of visual, there's a lot of sing-alongs. I tell stories about the songs in between, maybe a career story or two, and the music faithfully reproduced on stage. I use tracks. I use backing tracks for the show. It's a one-person show, but all the tracks are me. Every voice, all the drums. If it's keyboard or bass, that's all me too. And I did that in my studio at home. But I do the lead vocal and bass, keyboard, and piano live. That is all live.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely
that's great.
live. So yeah, a little dry technical side.
No,
of
that's.
it,
I mean, that's good to know because people want to. They want to see you live and play something. So
yeah,
that's great.
and they'll get a good sense of, well, here's a guy who who loves the Beatles as much as they do.
Yeah, yeah.
So I always say I'm just like the audience. I just get to wear the suit. You know, that's the difference. So
Yeah.
but
So, oh, I know. What is the smallest place that you have played in and the biggest place?
gosh, so the biggest room I think that I've been in is typically I was doing cruise ships for a while, and those are about 1,500 seats.
Oh, yeah.
But I did Strathmore Hall at one point.
Oh, that's great.
And I think that's well over 2,000,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cruise ship is, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, and you know, that's a great scenario because they're already primed to see the show,
Right.
the headline
Well,
show,
waiting
and
to be entertained.
yeah, and I'm sure it'll be that way at Laurel Mill too.
Yeah, yeah.
So now the smallest place. Gosh, I probably an American Legion or a Vineyard show where it's maybe 50 people, but small but mighty. I always say,
Yeah.
So
So what would you say the age range that comes to your shows? Because it seems to me that everybody loves the Beatles, no matter what
Yeah.
age they are.
it varies. I did a place called Revival in Salisbury, Maryland, in January, I think, and had a mom show up with her daughter, who, gosh, had to be about 7 or 8 years old, and she had a Beatle T-shirt on.
Oh my gosh!
And in the middle of the show, the mom came up and asked if I could play Yellow Submarine for the daughter, because that was the song she came to hear. And it wasn't in the set. So I grabbed my guitar and I sang it unplugged, and I had the audience join in.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, and in fact, she inspired me to actually put it in the show. So it's now a staple.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. What how do they get to talk to you after the show?
Yeah, generally, meet and greet for me is a really important part. I typically, halftime, when I'm in a normal venue, it's not a theater type situation, I'll go around and say hi to everybody and thank them. But they're the reason that we're there.
Yeah.
So, I really like to connect with folks and hear their stories too.
Right,
and,
right. And I should say we're hoping that Saturday, which is June 25th, that we go over to Oliver's, your old stomping ground, afterwards.
That would be fun.
For anybody who wants to come.
I would love that.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, we have our Mediterranean restaurant right next to Olive on Main,
Okay.
right next to us. And they got a big roomy area now. So I think that would be fun too.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, so people can. There's a kids show rehearsal coming in like after you, so we have to move fast.
Okay.
But it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're so looking forward to it, and people are just so excited about it. So get your tickets now. Not wait until the last minute, because typically these shows do sell out. They're very reasonable. They're $15. I think other shows are much more expensive. But we're just getting started back on the road, and we want everybody to see John Perry. You can buy the tickets online at laurelmillplayhouse.org. It's very easy. And again, if you have any problem with that, give me a call at 301-452-2557. Thank you so much, John. I'm so looking forward to next weekend. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Should I pass on the Instagram and website?
Yes. Everybody posts everywhere,
Okay.
so we
All right.
rock the house that next weekend. So
Okay.
that would be great.
Well, the website is aneveningwithpaul.info, and you can also find the show on Facebook, The Music of Lennon and McCartney, and we're on Instagram at Artist Legends. So,
Great.
thank you, Maureen.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this, and we'll be back with another show next month, Love Letters, that's going to be in July. And I think right now we have like 12 different couples who are performing, one couple each night. And some of these people are right in Laurel, and you will know them, so it'll be kind of fun to see them. So we'll see you next time, and thank you so much.